I remember very well the first day we went there was a woman, older woman crying with her baby. She was at the local school and she said, I don't know what to do anymore. I have no income. Nobody can help me. What is going on? This is going in a bad direction for a lot of people. That day was the eye-opener for us and for me as well. Hi, my name is Friso and this is One Night in Bangkok.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is Eric. I'm originally from the US and I've been living in Thailand for 5 years now. If you guys are new to Thailand, if you're living here already, or if you're coming soon, hit the subscribe button. There's so many cool people I want to bring you, and I don't want you to miss anything. If you want to listen to the audio version while you're in the car or while you're at work, we have it available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can check that out at the link below. Also, we recently started posting on Instagram, so if you want to see clips from the show, behind the scenes, all that stuff, you can check out Instagram down below. And lastly, we have a private Facebook group, so if you're coming to live in Bangkok, if you have questions about getting set up, or you just want recommendations on where to go and what to do, you can check that out down below too. If you have a question, just tag me in there. Tonight, I have a guy that I've seen on Instagram and my Instagram feed for a little while, Friso Poldervaart. Did I say your name right?
100% correct. Well done.
I'm not so good with the Dutch names, but I'm trying. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
So you actually reached out to me, but you didn't know I've kind of been following what you're doing for a while now.
Right.
Tell me first, we're going to talk about Bangkok Community Help Foundation. We're going to get into all that.
Yes.
But you've been here for a long time. You've been here for 14 years, you told me?
Almost 14 years now, yeah.
So what brought you to Thailand and why did you stay so long?
It's a long story, but I'll keep it short. It's actually the guy sitting behind. So this is the third voice. Can you say hello as well?
Hello, everybody.
Here we go. So this is my best friend, Patrick. Half Thai. His mom is Thai. His father is Dutch. We grew up together, basically, like brothers, best friends. And at some point, his parents told me, I think I was 11 or 12 years old. They said, okay, you're old enough now to come with us to Thailand. They were going all the time. Every 2 years, they were going on holiday. And they told me, okay, come along. So as a young boy from a very small town in the Netherlands, I come from the south, coming into Bangkok at that young age, I was like, oh, wow, this is incredible. You know, it was so exciting and so much fun. And I think already that time it started brewing in my mind, like, what would it be like to live there? Of course, very young, still in, primary school even. So I still had some time left in the Netherlands, studied there, I studied film. And then when I was 18, I moved. So I graduated and 10 days later, I left to Thailand and never went back. And still very happy, enjoying myself every day. So, but I'm really grateful for this man and his parents that they took me here. So this is really the reason.
I had a similar experience, but I was 28. I can't imagine what it would be like as a 12-year-old here.
It's just like everything opens, right? It's like, wow, because we're not used to these kind of things in Netherlands, especially where we are from. It's very small. Suddenly you come in this big metropolis. It's like, wow, what an energy, what a vibe. This is cool. And, I still feel that to this day. I still love Bangkok so much. Even if it's hot, even there's traffic, it's not a perfect city. But still, every day I wake up and I look outside and feel, wow, I'm blessed to be part of this big mechanism, this big machine called Bangkok. So really, really happy.
What are some of the differences that you noticed back then compared to now?
Oh, yeah, everything changes, of course. I mean, I moved here when I was 18, so of course, things change. I mean, my whole adult life been here in Thailand, right? So when you come here, you're very young. There's many things to do. You want to experience everything, right? And then slowly it becomes your life.
Well, I'm not sure about it. Everything. Okay.
Well,
But I think some people come here and they experience maybe too much, more than they expected.
That's true. Well, I think we've all been there. And I feel really like if you want to stay in Bangkok permanently, you got to go through all these phases, right? You got to go into the phase where Bangkok like takes you in, spits you out at the end. If you survive that one, okay, you can. It's like a game, like level 1, level 2, level 3. I've been through all the levels, I tell you. It's been very fun, and now it's home. So yeah, what's the difference? I think it's been evolving, and through that, I evolved as well.
Yeah. When you arrived here, when you were 18, was there even a BTS?
Yes. No, that
Because
was.
I think that makes a huge difference in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
livability of a city like this.
Yeah. Well, the BTS was built in '99, right? That's
Oh,
when they
okay. I
opened.
didn't realize
But
that.
the last station when I arrived was en route for many years.
And I think that's one of the reasons why even now, En Nut is a very popular BTS stop for
Yes.
both Thai people and I think expats
Correct.
coming here.
Correct,
And
yeah.
kind of, I think it's changing actually now. Like Punawiti and some of the other ones
Yeah.
are getting more popular. But for a lot of people, like they would say, well, En Nut is the furthest out I want to live.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think maybe it started like a lot of the infrastructure around there started
Correct.
because that was the last stop.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's probably true. Yeah, I mean, you had more shit on the other side, and you had en route for many years, and now you see the city is like moving, right? I mean, now we're going all the way to I think Bering, right, and all the way. So you see that like everything's moving outwards all the time, and I think those are cool areas these days as well.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about, a lot of people will say, well, you know, the Thai people now, they're getting pushed further and further out because all of these foreigners are coming, like us, basically. So what do you think about that?
Well, it's very marginal. That's number one. I mean, Thailand is, of course, of the Thai people. I think the foreigners are not pushing out anyone. But I think what's pushing out the most Thais is the big corporations in Thailand, the CPs, the big, construction companies that come in and that sweep out whole communities to build, for example, one Bangkok. I mean, there have been thousands of people had to move away.
What is that?
One Bangkok is the largest construction project in Thailand, where they build like a city in a city. It's around like between Rama 4 and Sukhumvit Road. And there used to be beautiful communities of people living there, lower income communities mostly, and they are just being pushed away and pushed away. So really, it's not the foreigners that are pushing the Thai away. It's these big companies that are doing it. So I think that's what we need to look at more. The big conglomerates like, CP, like One Bangkok,
CP,
like Singha, like Chang.
No, CP is the one that operates 7-Eleven.
That's correct.
Or
yeah.
like half the 7-Elevens. Do you know how that works?
Yeah. Well, CP is the one of the richest families in Thailand. And so they own 7-Eleven outright, so the whole brand, and then they franchise it out. But they also own True, they own many, many different things. So, well, they need to, obviously, they need to make money, and anybody that needs to go out of their way needs to go out of their way. So, of course, Thailand is run by a very few, very strong families. And again, I think they are the ones responsible for this and not so much us. Without stepping on anyone's toes here. But yeah.
Now, compared to when you first came here, if you can remember when you were like 12,
yeah.
Do you think that on average, the Thai people have a better quality of life now or back then?
If you look at for example, the minimum daily wage, right? That has not been going up for many years. So, of course, if you compare it to 10 years ago, things are better, but we also have inflation. If you look at, for example, the elderly right now, 33% of elderly in Thailand lives under the poverty line at this point in time, which is, of course, very, very alarming and is very sad. So is it getting better economically? I think before COVID, it was going very well. After COVID, of course, now it's like slowly recovering again. Thailand, of course, it's like a rubber band, you can stretch it all the way out and it comes back. And this is amazing about Thai people, the resilience they have, after tsunami, after COVID, they're always able to come back. But a lot of people really are suffering very, very much. Elderly, like I told you, a lot of homeless. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are maybe also a little bit under the carpet, because I really see Bangkok as a very beautiful city, number one, which has a very beautiful and shiny shell, right? We see the shopping malls, we see the Porsche dealers, we see all these beautiful things, right? But behind those are communities living, lower income communities, living in shacks, living, where kids are not going to school. And all of these things live together on a very close proximity, right?
It's a very unique thing here. When I first came here, like my first few months, I was really shocked by how I was living kind of near Emporier.
Okay, yeah.
The shopping mall. Very nice shopping mall area. Now there's M-Sphere there.
Right.
But I remember like my first night in Bangkok. Don't hate me. I went and I felt like a cheeseburger, just because I'd been traveling for so long and I just wanted a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And the cheeseburger and fries came out to like $14 US.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's so expensive. I would think everything would be much cheaper.
Right.
And then I started to notice like you've got these beautiful shopping malls, these new condo towers, but then right next to it, you've got basically people living in poverty.
Yeah, correct.
And it was crazy to me how wide the wealth inequality gap is. I'm from Boston. Obviously, there's a lot of wealthy people in Boston and a lot of not so wealthy people.
Right.
But I feel like generally everybody's kind of in the same pot. But here it's like living on two completely different planets.
Correct. Yeah. No, that's true. But somehow it all works together. And that's also the beauty of this city, right? Like there is something for everyone. I mean, we can eat on the street for 40 baht, or we can eat on the rooftop for 40,000, right? There's something in between for everyone, for every budget, for every kind of person. So that's beautiful, but it's something that, a lot of people maybe sometimes do not see or forget about, It's the people, that bring you your food panda drivers that drive your taxis, that, standing downstairs as your security guard, is people that run this city, basically.
Yeah, I was in one of the new Tops markets recently. Very nice one in Tung Lo. Super nice, like grocery store.
Right.
And there was a lineman driver or something, grab man, whatever, going to pick up someone's food.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, this guy is shopping for food for some customer, but I wonder where he buys food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's probably buying at the Khlong Toei market, or he's buying at Big C, right? So there's nothing wrong with the difference, but it's very true, right? I mean, what we saw during, for example, the pandemic, right? Khlong Toei slum, biggest slum in Thailand, 140,000 people living there. Almost 99% infected at some point there. So that whole area was just locked down, basically. Nobody was able to
Can you give
get...
some history of that area? Because it's a very unique place in Bangkok. Yeah. And actually, it is one of the reasons I ended up moving here.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
But give everyone a little background on that area.
Okay, yeah. So Khlong Toei, very interesting. Khlong Toei is a district, right? Khlong Toei has the Khlong Toei slum, biggest slum in Thailand, and has Sukhumvit Road, Emporium, M-Sphere, all these places, right? So it's the district where the richest and the poorest live together. The Khlong Toei slum is at the Chao Phraya River because the harbor is there, the old harbor. And 50, 60 years ago, the Port Authority of Thailand said to the workers, okay, if you work for the Port Authority, you can just build your house here. There was a big swamp, basically. Build it there because it's easy, you don't have to travel anywhere. That's how very slowly the Khlong Toei slum started. So 1 house, 2 house, 3 house, all the way to today, 140,000 people, 42 communities living there. And that's how the slum originated, basically. Now it's so big that, of course, some of the government maybe wants to do something with this land. The Port Authority wants to do something with this land. But where to let the people go? Where should they move, right? So everything you see in the Khlong Toei slum is owned by the Port Authority of Thailand. So nobody owns any land there. So there's always this sword, right, hanging above the people's head. What year, what day, what month will they come and tell us it's game over here? We need to move. This has been in the works for 20, 30 years already. Luckily, it never happened. But this is always something these people are living with. Always this feeling like we are not welcome. They don't want us here. And when are they going to send us away? So this is the Khlong Toei slum in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's not like it's, beachfront property. Can you describe what it looks like? It's very dense.
It's very dense, yeah. I mean, it's hard because, the word slum I don't like at all. We don't like to use it because it paints a negative picture, right? It's a lower income community. But if you see it, it's basically shacks, houses, shacks. A little bit of nothing, shack again, school. So it's it's a very beautiful but also very strange place because it has its own infrastructure. There are shops there are schools there are hairdressers, everything, but it's all informal. So nobody owns land. There's no sewage system, for example. There is electricity. Everything is kind of like on the fly, on the go.
There's no sewage system.
Correct.
Does that mean, is there running water inside the homes?
There is running water, but all the sewage, so all the feces, all the shower, all the kitchen water, all goes directly into the water below, basically. So it's a swamp in the end.
Are
right?
a lot of the houses, it's, I'm not sure I even want to call them houses, some of them, but are they built on stilts, some of them, or
Yes.
they're up high?
They're built on stilts. And in between these, these soils, basically the streets, right, are bridges. So when you walk over those, you're basically walking over a bridge that's over a swamp. And left and right of your house is built on stilts. Some of them are stilts of wood. So after 10 years, they just start, rotting and they fall into the water. So we see that a lot. We build a lot of houses in these communities as well. And yeah, we see a lot of them. They just come down at some point, they fall. And very difficult to build there because you're basically building over water, right? So we use, of course, structures that will be there for a long time. But you see a lot of old structures that are of wood that are just slowly sinking, and then in the end they just drop in the water, basically. I really recommend anyone to go there. Either you go with Bangkok Community Help, this is amazing, of course, or you go by yourself. It's not dangerous. It's a very beautiful place. It's the real Thailand in many ways. If you want to see real Thai people working, making ends meet, just go there. You'll have a great time.
About 6 years ago, this month, I actually went there.
Nice.
It was on my second trip to Thailand, and I met up with this photographer who was familiar with the area. I guess he knew a lot of the residents of that area. Yeah. And so he brought us. Actually, we went to the market first.
Okay, yeah.
And the Khlong Toei market is the largest wet market in Bangkok.
Correct,
is that true?
That's true.
That they supply a lot of food to a lot of the restaurants all around Bangkok.
Yes.
It's really crazy to be at that place at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a lot of energy there.
So we went there and then we walked over to the slum area, and I have to admit it's a very intimidating area if you're especially if you're new to Thailand.
Yeah.
It's very dense. There's a lot of sights and sounds and smells. And a lot of the people there are very, I'll say, like rough around the edges, appearance-wise.
Yeah, that's true.
And I remember in particular, one person I met really changed my view on a lot of things. I don't know if you'll know who I'm talking about. He's a large man, bald man. He's completely covered in tattoos.
Yeah. I know exactly who you mean.
He came to the guy I was with, said, I'm not sure if he's here, but let's see. And he knocked on the door, and the guy came to the door. Very scary looking guy. Yeah. Okay, I'll try to find the photos and put them here.
Yeah.
And he said he saw me and my girlfriend, and he was like, give me 1 second. And he went back in, and he got a photo of himself to show us. And he showed us this photo, and what he told us was it was a photo of him and his father, and it was from before he had all the tattoos,
wow.
before he was involved in with whatever.
Yeah.
And I just, for the rest of that day, I just couldn't believe that this stranger who, I just arrived at this guy's doorstep from the other side of the world, and he's willing to talk to me and share some of his story.
That's amazing,
and he doesn't, what does he have? He has nothing.
Correct.
And so that was so amazing to me. That was one of the reasons I was so intrigued about Bangkok in particular. And I wanted to come here. So later that year, that's when I moved here.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I would love to meet him again. If he's still there, I want to come down.
He's there, yeah. During COVID, Piam was one of our volunteers, worked with us a lot. I mean, Piam has been in jail for many times. Of course, has a little bit of a difficult past. Then during COVID, a lot of people were infected, like I told you, laying in their houses, being infected. And together with a lot of other people, Piam was one of the guys that would go in those houses and carry the people out of the houses. At that time, we had ambulances as well from the foundation. He was driving the ambulance as well. So he's a legend. Let's bring him on here.
I would love to do that. And I hate to say,
how cool would that be?
I'm actually fighting back tears now because that day, that few hours was so embedded in my memory. So yeah, I would love to see him again.
Let's make a reunion.
Yeah.
Let's bring him in here. I mean, his story, amazing. because he changed his life. He said, so many bad things, and said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Now he's helping the community.
That's
he's helping
amazing.
the kids. Yeah, amazing guy.
The cultural shock that I found when I came here, in a good way, I mean, was just so astounding to me compared to where I'm from.
I believe you. Yeah.
It's very hard to describe to people like back home in the US. If you talk to friends or family back in Europe and you say like, especially maybe now it's okay, but when you first came here, were they surprised that you came to Thailand? Did they judge you in some way? What did they think?
I think a lot of them knew already, because I was so obsessed by this country. I was always talking about it. I was always reading about it. I was following the news. I mean, you're 14 years old and you're, reading about Thai politics and red versus yellow. And so, I mean, of course, they probably thought I was nuts anyway, right? So I think they knew that. You're 100% right. It's very hard to explain. If, for example, I look at my parents, it took a long time for them to come here. Then at some point I just said, okay, to my dad and to my mom, I said, okay, here's a ticket. And you have to come, because I cannot explain you what I'm doing, how this country is. You have to feel it. You have to see by yourself. They came. Now they never want to go back again. I mean, they love to come here, right? So it's hard to explain. And some things you need to see with your own eyes. You need to feel with your own heart, right? Luckily now we have social media, so we can show a lot of things. 10 years ago, we were calling on Skype. I mean, once a week. Right, so it was also a bit of a different time. I don't know, Patrick, what did you think?
Yeah, I think most of us already had some suspicion that he was going to end up here. He was obsessed as a kid, basically.
Yeah.
He was talking about politics. Yeah, at that age, I didn't even follow the Dutch politics. At last, the Thai politics.
Yeah.
He was always listening to everything, looking at everything. So I think most of us had a fear.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, and now it's nice because now we can share these memories here, right? Now our friends are here.
It's so easy to move here now. I mean, when you moved here,
I
mean, when I moved here, it was significantly harder.
I believe
because that was before TikTok. That was before a lot of the information was widely available.
Yeah.
But when you moved here, it must have been a whole other thing, because you're using Skype. I don't even know what the infrastructure is like, communication. It must be so hard.
Yeah, it's totally different than now. You're right. And thank God for all these beautiful things, right? Because it just makes the access much easier. That time, we were just figuring everything out, right? So yeah, I'm very happy that you have so many people, like yourself and other people online that can show all these beautiful things about Thailand, can share all these, knowledge. Now, even me, I'm following all these guys and then say, oh, wait, they went to that place, I'm going to go as well. So, it's great in the end, right? That time, yeah, we were just figuring it out. And, they also, the infrastructure, like, things like online banking didn't exist. Online shopping didn't exist. Food Panda, all these things didn't exist. So it's great to see like it's developing, it's just getting better and better, basically.
But do you think it could turn into a problem? Like I haven't been to Bali, but I've heard from many people that there it's crossed a point where it's just unbearable. There's so many foreigners there. It's ruining the way of life there. Yeah. Do you think that that could happen in Thailand or in Bangkok?
I don't think so, no, because I strongly believe that Thai people, Thai government, they will always keep that in check to a point where it's reasonable and bearable for them. Thailand will always be the land of the Thai, right? And they will always make sure that that's the case. And I think that's a good thing, because in the end, you need to protect also your own people in some way, right? I think what happens in Bali is that they're milking it so much that it doesn't matter anymore who's coming, how many coming, what they're doing. And I don't think that can ever happen here. You see it, in Phuket a little bit, for example. You see a little bit of, an influx in Russian people, for example. And then that's fine, of course. But then, it's the task of the government to come in and kind of rearrange things a little bit. Not meaning that they need to go, but, if a Russian person is driving the minivan and is driving the boat and is doing the snorkeling tour, these things you need to also make sure that they are in proportion to what Thai people can do as well, right? And then we can live in harmony together, right? So I think Thailand is also changing, that it's getting more and more modern in that way. So that's more and more of a hybrid of foreign influx, Thai influx coming together, doing beautiful things together. I think that's happening more and more, especially again, you know, when government changes a little bit, some fresher minds come into power, then things will just slowly come together, I think. Yeah.
What did you see during COVID when the whole pandemic situation was beginning?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if people remember, but I believe Bangkok was the first major city that had COVID cases outside of China.
That's right.
And I was here during that time. I'm assuming you were here.
Yes.
So what did you see happening, especially, were you working with these low income areas at that time or no?
No, not yet.
What were you doing before?
So I used to, or I still own a restaurant called Dinner in the Sky. So it's a restaurant we lift up with a crane 50 meters in the air. Maybe if you've seen it.
Oh, where is it?
Right now we're not open, but we used to be next to Banjasiri Park.
Okay.
Where Msphere is built now.
Okay.
So hopefully we're opening this year again. I was doing a lot of different things, business, import, export. Was in media production like yourself as well, which I still am in now. But then when COVID came, you're right, the first ever case outside of China in the world was in Thailand, February 2020. And when that case was here, immediately everybody was on high alert. You remember we were counting 3 infected, 5 infected.
People were kind of hysterical. I mean, they had apps to track, you know, there were 5 cases and they had apps to track where they were and what happened.
And in the end, you know, if, you know, was it right or not? I mean, definitely they knew there was something coming, something big was coming, right? And then there was a long stretch of time where it was kind of okay. And then suddenly the tail whip just smashed through the whole, country.
Did you ever consider going back to Europe during that time?
No. I never considered anyway, in any case. Also, I mean, you know, in hindsight, because I also really feel that, you know, if we can be here in Thailand and enjoy all the beautiful things, we should also be here in times when it's a little bit worse, right? So that's also where sort of the helping comes from in the end, right? Like, if, you know, if we are enjoying the beautiful things and the beaches and we're going out and then suddenly it's a little bit worse here, we shouldn't leave. We should still stay here, and we should also fight together to help society, right? So it's never even been an idea. It was actually the trigger to start helping out. So when first COVID case came, me and a few friends said, okay, we gotta start helping out. Let's see what we can do. We saw already in lower income communities, people were losing their job because the government was closing the borders. And when the borders close, of course, I mean, so many jobs go, right? Lower income jobs always go first. If a company has a bad year, the first people that need to leave are the people in the lower segment usually, right? So we saw that happening. I remember very well, the first day we went there was a woman, older woman crying with her baby. She was at the local school and she said, I don't know what to do anymore. I have no income. Nobody can help me. What is going on? We didn't know yet what this virus was going to be, but that was very clear to us. Okay, this is going, you know, in a bad direction for a lot of people. That day we started helping, cooking food by ourselves, 300 meals. We fast forward to today, is 3 million meals. So it's been, that day was the eye opener for us and for me as well. That's when everything changed. So it was literally COVID that did that. And then, of course, like, you know, it became very, very difficult for so many people for so long. And now finally we're on the way out and we're on the way back. So luckily, you know. So
tell me a little bit more about Bangkok Community Help Foundation.
Sure.
I just want to make sure we get the actual name out there.
Yeah. BCH.
And I'm going to link everything down below so you can check it out.
Thank you.
But you're doing this with Greg.
Yeah.
Is it Greg Lang? Is that how you say his name?
Greg Lang, yeah.
Who many people might not know his name, but they might know Sunrise Tacos, which is all over the place.
Yeah.
So you had this experience, like what did you say to get this going? Or was it informal at first, or did you
Yeah,
you were just saying let's do some stuff to help out, and then eventually you said maybe we can make this
Yeah, no, it's like we say the way COVID mutated, we mutated as well. So we started helping out, very small, just a few friends. Then how COVID started becoming worse, we started to add more help. So we started doing more meals. We started doing more help. We started bringing, we call it survival bags, where there's food for 1 week for a family. We brought 600,000 of them during COVID all around. Then at some point, COVID started going in people's lungs. Remember the Delta version. Hospitals were getting full. Now, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that people survive and can wait till a hospital bed frees up. So we need to supply oxygen in their homes. We need ambulances because all the ambulances are occupied all the time. Okay, let's buy ambulances and let's refit them and make our own. So all of these things are like countermeasure. Khlong Toei, lower income. People are in their homes. Government says, okay, if you have COVID, you need to isolate. But where do you isolate if you live in 10 square meters with 6 people? No bedroom, no bathroom, nothing. You cannot isolate, right? So what do? We take big football fields, we put the beds on them, the cardboard beds, maybe you remember, and take the people that have COVID and put them in community isolation. So there's been so many things that's been happening, but it's always been a reaction, right? It's a reaction. Okay, now this happens. Okay, let's do this. Vaccination. We did the first mass vaccination in Thailand. 60,000 people of Khlong Toei slum. First time it was ever done was over there, because you could see that so many people were infected that the whole city was just like falling apart. And that goes back to, why are these people so amazing over there? Because when they are all staying home and they're all sick, the city doesn't work anymore. People are not driving the trucks anymore. People are not pumping the gas. People are not opening, all the places. They're not, protecting stuff. So that's where you could very clearly see these people are the ones that actually run the city, So it's been many things. It's hard to explain, because it's been so. Then we had the construction camp saga where they locked 80,000 people in construction camps. I don't know if you remember, to try and, contain the spread of COVID-19. But 80,000 people were stuck in these camps. Nobody in, nobody out. Army in front of all the gates, 725 camps, right? When that happened the first day, we thought, okay, this is interesting. This is another thing that's happening now, right? After 1 or 2 days, people started calling us and say, hey, we see people from our balcony waving to us like this from inside these camps. We don't know what's going on, but they seemed like they were in trouble. So, of course, we went there. We kicked open the door. I mean, not literally, but we just said to whoever was there, army, police, no, we need to go inside. Go inside, find people, children, pregnant women that have nothing, no water, no food, no medicine. There were people there stuck for 16 days, boiling rainwater and drinking the rainwater because that's all they had, right? So what do we do then? Okay, we go to all the camps and we start helping out. We start making sure that we count the people that are there. We make a list. We see this person needs that. That's a child. That is this. She is pregnant. And start supplying all these different things. And the list goes on. There's so many things. It's always been this reaction.
What's amazing about this story is I'm a big proponent of, if you want to see a change, do something.
Correct.
Even if it's very small. Mm-hmm. Because in your case, it may have started with something small, maybe just a bag of food for one person.
Yeah.
But now look at what it's grown into.
Absolutely.
And I think too many people, they see these things and they say, I wish this was different, or I wish I could do something.
Yeah.
And they do nothing.
That's true. And I think for us as a foundation, it's our task to give people the opportunity to make a difference. Because it's understandable, right? I speak to a lot of big groups, at schools. And I always ask, okay, who in this group wants to help someone? And everybody in the room raised their hand, right? Then I asked, how are you going to do it? And nobody raised their hand anymore. So it's very understandable that we don't always know what to do. I believe everybody wants to help. If we as Bangkok community help give everyone the opportunity to do that in their own way, bring their knowledge, help someone, take someone somewhere, then we can really make a big difference, right? So I think that's our task at the end, right? Just empowering people to do something good for someone else. It's very understandable. You don't need to do it on our scale, helping so many people, millions of people. If you do it on your own way, that's already enough. But you always have to do something. And if you don't know how, do it with us.
Yeah. So if someone wanted to volunteer their time, or they have a day, a weekend, whatever, what can they do?
So right now we help the homeless and elderly. We do this every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we cook 500 meals. We go with our van to the Radamnern Avenue, which is where Khao San Road is, Democracy Monument, and we hand these meals directly to the people there. So this is a daily activity. You can come and join. Anybody can come. Our office is in Sukhumvit, Soi 10. You just show up, you help out, and you go with us. Then we do English for the kids. We do English for the adults. We have Kids Day. We build houses. We build schools. We just finished building a library. We clean the waters of the community.
Can you talk about the English for a minute?
Sure.
Because I think I don't think I talked to you, but I talked to someone about this maybe last year.
Okay.
So you have free English classes, is that
Correct.
right?
Yes.
For just kids in the community?
For kids in the community and for adults in the community.
Because I think you know and I know, but for people out there, I mean, if you can speak English in this country, you have so many more opportunities that open up to you.
You're right.
And it seems like such a simple thing.
Yeah.
If you just started when you're young and kind of kept at it, your whole life could be different after that.
It's true.
So how does it work? You have it, is it every Saturday or?
At the moment, yes. It's every Saturday. So the kids come in, we have our building inside the community. We have a lot of volunteers coming from all around. Some are teachers, some are just people that love to, help the kids out. And we do things like games. We teach them different things. I mean, the ABC, the counting. I mean, very simple, but they're still very young. And just get them acquainted with speaking English, number one, speaking with people that are foreign to them, right? So we merge this together and just have a good time. So it's also, we do dancing, we do art, all these different things. It's super fun. And I really recommend anyone that, wants to come and join, just come out because this is really good. And then for the adults, we do vocational English. So this is really more like, okay, how do I use English in my work? How can I use it in the office, perhaps? We have some ladies that, for example, work in a massage. They come to us and say, okay, how can we talk with customers? How can we, 1 hour, 2 hour, 300 baht, 400, these kind of things, right? So all of these things we're doing, and we're expanding this. We're expanding because you're 100% right. English is the key to a better future. Otherwise, we wouldn't sit here, right? I mean, we can speak. I mean, it's not my language, it's not your language.
You guys are a lot better than me. I mean, you also mentioned treating the water.
Yes.
What's that about?
So we just did it this morning, actually. So we use effective microorganisms, which is a technology from Japan. It's invented in Japan. It's basically like Yakult. You know Yakult, the drink. So it's probiotics, basically. So you're drinking bacteria, basically. Bacteria go in your stomach and they start to work together with the bad bacteria and make them into good
And you're putting
ones.
this in the canal.
Yes. So we're putting this in the waters of the Khlong Toei lower income communities because, again, it's an open sewer. So all the feces are going in there. 6,000 times the safe amount of E. coli bacteria in that water. Yesterday it was raining very hard all day. At night there was a big storm. All that is just floating up, right? The kids go to school in the morning. They got to walk through this water, right? So what we always see in rainy season, 20% more skin infections. People are getting sick. So we're applying this. Today we applied 2,000 liters into the water. We see the levels going down very slowly. So it's helping. Then we're also collecting plastic waste. So this is the second part of it. We're the first one ever that's putting monetary value on single-use plastic. So not the bottles, but all the wrappers around it, your ice cream wrappers, your chips bags, have no value. So what do you do with something that has no value? you throw it wherever, right? For the first time ever, we buy this for 10 baht a kilo. And with this, people are cleaning up their community now. So we're taking 200-300 kilos.
That is a great
already.
idea to motivate people and give them incentive.
Yeah, I mean, it's incentivizing instead of penalizing, right? I mean, maybe in the West, we penalize, right? If you don't do that, we give you a fine. Why not incentivize? Okay, you come, you do that. Okay, we give you.
You seem like a very busy person.
Yeah.
Do you have time for anything else? I think I saw on your Instagram, did you just travel somewhere?
Yes, I was just traveling since a long time. I was in Japan for a little bit. Now, tomorrow we're flying to Samui. So for me, it's also nice because we don't go on holiday that much because we're very busy, like you say. Now my friends are here, so we're going. Then I'm going to Europe. So for me, it's actually the first time that I really have like a little bit of time to travel again, which is very nice. I almost feel a bit guilty sometimes, but we have 1,200 volunteers. We have Greg that's on the helm as well, so everything's fine. But I really love to work. I really love to be with these people. So for me, every day is a holiday in that way. I just enjoy it a lot.
What about the dating situation? Because I imagine a lot of lovely females watching want to find someone like
everybody.
you.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy with my girlfriend.
Thai?
Thai, yes,
Okay.
yes.
How did you meet?
We met at climbing. You know the Stone Goat climbing
Like
hall?
a rock climbing gym.
Yeah, rock climbing. Anyone out there that's single, go to Stone Goat. It's amazing. A lot of beautiful girls there.
So you met her,
Yeah.
she was just in the gym.
She was in there. We met 2-3 years ago already.
Okay,
through,
so we were
like,
kind of
friends.
talking about this on the last episode
Okay, yeah.
or one of the previous ones. I'm not
Yeah.
sure when we'll post this.
Okay.
I think we had 2 girls on and we were talking about like guys approaching them in public.
Okay.
What do you think the best way is to approach? You see a lovely Thai young woman.
Mhm.
What's the best way to approach without coming off in the wrong way?
What's the best way? I mean, it depends where it is. That's number
Okay,
one.
let's say
right?
it's the rock climbing gym.
Let's say it's a rock climbing. I mean, yeah, I think just strike up a conversation, right? Like, how are you today? I mean, you come here often. I mean, it's very simple, right? The cool thing about when you do it in these kind of environments is that you already have something in common.
Like a shared
right?
interest.
We're working. Or like, did you climb that wall? Yeah, it's very difficult. You want me to show you? Should I help?
Patrick. Has he always been this smooth or is this a new thing?
Yeah, it was always like this. But now it's a success, apparently.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's great to meet friends and other people
Sure.
through these kind of environments, right? Can also be in a nightclub or can be on a dating app, but it's not really my style also. So yeah, we met there and we're very happy ever since. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, so many new foreigners are coming to Thailand for the first time. If they're
Right.
coming to live in Bangkok, whether it's for a few months or a year or whatever,
Yeah.
what would you recommend they do, or where do you think they should go that's outside of the typical Sukhumvit bubble?
Right. If they live here or just on holiday?
Let's say they want to come here for like 6 months or a year,
Yeah.
like longer term.
Okay. Well, I would definitely say, of course, be in the Sukhumvit bubble also a little bit. I mean, it's part of it, right? But maybe choose a place to live that's maybe not that common, Why not live like around the river or whatever? It's very, traditional Thai, for example, right? Then, of course, come with Bangkok Community Help. Meet a lot of
that's
people.
probably a great way to meet people.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We have so many people that are here for, they just moved here. We have a lot of people that their husband moves here and they follow, like the wife, the husband works for UN or for a school. They come, they make friendships, they make relationships, they have, a great time because we are a community as well. We're Bangkok Community Help. We help the community, but we're a community. So if you want to meet like-minded people, this is a great way. Come to Bangkok Community Help because, again, like in the climbing, right? If you come to us, you're not going to meet people that are not like-minded because people that do not want to break a sweat and help someone else, you will not find with us, right? So immediately have a connection there. And it's a great way to meet people. And and go everywhere and talk with people, I think. I mean, just go and network, talk with people. Bangkok is a place where, you don't have a job, you go to a bar, you talk with a guy, and tomorrow you start working.
Yeah, it is a very unique thing here.
It's
like
very
that. Yeah.
unique. There's no papers, resume. It's just like, oh wow, you're a cool dude. Okay, bam, let's go. And now we're working on whatever, building a company or this. I think is really, is a great thing. So just go out there, talk with people, open your eyes, your ears, and your heart.
Friso, thanks for coming.
Thank you
and
so
telling
much.
this story.
Appreciate.
It's definitely a unique thing. I want more people to know about it. I've been following you for a long time. If people want to get involved, they want to volunteer, they want to donate anything.
Yes.
With Bangkok Community Help, where should they go?
So Bangkok Community Help on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, basically every social media platform. That's where you can follow everything we do every single day. If you want to come and help out, just get in touch or check bangkokcommunityhelp.org. Or you can follow me personally, Friso Poldervaart, on all social media platforms. And then we take it from there. I'm really looking forward to see everyone there. And hopefully you too. I mean, if you want to come and help out one day, this would be very nice.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. And actually, I want to also mention, you have a location to donate things? Or
Yes.
is that your main office on Soi 10?
We have over 15 drop-off points in Bangkok. So any Sunrise Tacos in Bangkok, you can drop off your things. So if you have
really?
any clothes
That's very
left
good to know,
over-
because
Yeah.
I was there a few weeks ago donating some things.
Thank you so much. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I think when you make things easy for people like that,
This
it's
is
a lot,
right.
You can get a bigger response.
You're right. Everyone wants to help. We just need to make the easy way to do it, right? So any clothes, if you have shoes, furniture, food, bring it there. We make sure it goes to someone in need.
Cool. Guys, thank you for watching. If you want to see more from Bangkok Community Help, I'll put all the info down below. Subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Spotify and Apple. Check out Instagram for all the behind the scenes stuff. And we will see you in the next one.